Hi there. It's Delusion Dispelor back again, and I'm going to talk to you now about, well, I'm going to ask you some questions, actually. And what I'm going to talk about is gaining approval from people. If you've been raised in a toxic, narcissistic family, you know that there's certain things that you do to make sure people approve of you. Well, I'm going to be asking you some questions. I want you to ask yourself these as I ask them to you. Okay, first of all, do you find yourself saying that you agree with something when you really don't agree? Do you go along with another person's activities so that they'll like you better even though you really don't enjoy what they're doing? Do you go against a value or a belief hoping that others will approve of you even though you don't agree with what that value or belief is? Do you follow the crowd in order to be included? Do you put other people's comfort over your own frequently? Do you allow other people to make decisions for you? Do you tend to sacrifice yourself for others? Do you try to gain approval and people liking you in ways that you probably shouldn't? Do you kind of feel like people should read your mind or be a step ahead of you and do everything right? Do you feel responsible for other people? Like over-responsible. Like if something goes wrong for somebody, you feel that you should have been there for them or you're the one to blame for it. Do you put other people's needs ahead of your own? Do you take care of others without them asking you to take care of them first? You feel, overly responsible for everything that goes on with everybody. If something happens, you think you're the one that has to patch up the situation or intervene somehow. You just feel that, like I said, over-responsible type of thing. Okay, so that's talking about approval seeking. Now we're going to talk about self-deprecation. If you've ever met somebody that's self-deprecating, it's a very disturbing thing because they're always putting themselves down and you always feel like you have to pick them up and encourage them when really the encouragement should come from within. Somebody that's a self-deprecator is unable to receive compliments. They tend to dilute the compliment by saying, oh, it was nothing, it's no big deal. Like, suppose somebody sang a song and it was really, really pretty and you said, that's a beautiful song. They say, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. Oh, come on. Sometimes they'll go, oh, stop it. Okay? They minimize their abilities. Oh, I'm not that good at that. They focus on their mistakes, always telling you what they do wrong and how they goofed up. They want recognition, but then when somebody gives them recognition, they act all squeamish about it and uncomfortable. They downplay their achievements. When they're complimented, they tend to want to run away or avoid the compliment. They shrink from people's contact. They kind of think that the person really doesn't mean the compliment. They think that they're lying to them or they're just being insincere, that maybe they're just complimenting them because they want something from them. They always feel like what they do isn't perfect enough, so they're not satisfied. They feel like they haven't won your approval, so they don't deserve to be proud of what they did. Some of them even visibly cringe, like, ooh, don't compliment me, don't draw attention to me. What happens in this case is that when a parent withdraws acceptance of you, you feel like you don't deserve to be accepted and approved. As a child, you were punished for mistakes in a way that made you feel like you were punished, not the action that you did was punished. So you feel inadequate and flawed. That's why if you discipline a child, don't say, oh, you're such a bad boy. Say, what you did was not a good thing. What you did was wrong. Don't say, you're such a bad girl, you're such a bad boy, or something like that. It makes the person feel devalued, especially a child. You always feel the need to get it right. Like, you feel responsible to make sure nothing goes wrong in a situation, that others' needs are anticipated and met at all times. You feel like you can never make a mistake, never make a wrong decision, never take a risk. You feel that all your choices have been wrong. You take responsibility for other people's choices, feeling that if they don't succeed, it's your fault. Are you unrealistic and critical? Do you constantly feel like you're striving but never getting there, never good enough for yourself or for others? Do you hold yourself to a high standard? Do you hold yourself to others' high standards? Are you over-emotional? If a child was constantly criticized and not allowed to express feelings and expected to read the parent's mind and had inconsistent parenting and inconsistent parental responses, that means basically if a child does something in 1 minute the parent is praising them and the next minute they're condemning them, it sends a message of confusion, and that child is left never knowing where they stand, what to expect, what is expected of them, and always thinking that what they do is wrong, always being afraid that they're doing wrong. As an adult, this type of over-emotional behavior can result from constant expectation that other people are criticizing them, kind of like that perceived insult thing we talked about. And when they feel like they're criticized, even if they're not being criticized, then they feel like it's something that's out of their control, and they feel really deeply hurt. Once they feel this hurt, then they tend to overreact. They will react with blaming the other person, criticizing the other person. They perceive a lot of the comments that are said at that point as being devaluing of themselves, even if they're not. They are very hurt by mistakes and wrongs and things that people do in error. They take it very personally. They feel that other people expect things of them that they can't do. So they fear failure, and they feel flawed if they fail. And honestly, that's why a lot of people are not risk takers, because they're afraid of failing. And they're afraid of looking like there's something wrong with them. They see all comments as critical that are corrective. You cannot correct somebody that was raised in an over-emotional way, because they will take what you say as being a personal attack on them. That's pretty much it for that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the person that gets too intimate too soon, too fast with too many people. And I can talk from experience on this one because I used to be that person. Thankfully, I've learned something called discretion, so it's not as big of a problem anymore. Well, we'll talk about that on the next video. I hope you're enjoying the videos and getting something out of them. Maybe you can relate to them. Just remember, if I'm stepping on toes or hitting a nerve, I'm not doing it to be mean. I'm doing it because I care. I want you to know that you're not damaged goods. There's hope for you. You can get out of the situation you're in, but make sure you're doing it safely. I encourage you not to keep family secrets, period. Tell a safe person. Find somebody, a teacher or somebody that's safe to talk to that will help you get the help that you need. Thanks for watching my video. Stay tuned as I talk about easy intimacy. God bless you, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.